Nityanandam. The next segment we have is Kailasa's multi-layered quarantine opportunity for India during the COVID-19. Now, let us look into the revelations that Devi Parashakti has revealed several weeks ago about the condition, how the people are going to suffer because of COVID. In India especially, and what is the solution for them, how they can protect themselves from this pandemic. India is the biggest spiritual land where enlightened beings happen again and again, flower as enlightened beings and benefit the entire world. We cannot afford to lose only Bharadam. We cannot lose the enlightenment womb. India is the biggest spiritual land where enlightened beings happen again and again, and we cannot afford to lose the enlightenment womb. In order to save the cosmos from the cosmic deluge, I built a ship called Adi Kailasa. Devi Parashakti says that she built a ship called Adi Kailasa in order to protect the humanity from the cosmic deluge. I gathered together all the spiritual energy of the cosmos and built the ship called Adi Kailasa. Due to the cunning strategy of the treacherous people and the ruling of the enemies, the captain of the ship itself had to leave the ship, referring to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Swamiji, had to leave the ship because of the attempts from the anti-Hindu elements. Now, let us all come and take a good bath, get protected and get healed and get all the benefits. Make use of the ship, which I built out of huge grace and compassion, and protect yourselves from the huge cosmic deluding destructive dance. For India, I made a ship as protection, the Nityananda Navapashana Lingam in Vaidya Sarovar. Go to Kailasa. Crores of people will come there looking for health. Navapashana water and medicine to get health and protection and enlightenment. For all of them, give Anadan. To protect India from the great destruction, I, Parashakti, made this huge ship. Even if captain is not there, ship is there. Swamiji further revealed that at least 6 months back, I became aware that the multi-layered quarantine is needed to protect people. If you are in India and you want to protect your immediate family or the extended family, and we have here India struggles to track COVID variants. India's woeful tracking of COVID variants could jeopardize the world's fight against COVID-19. Several experts warned even as a variant first found here spreads its claws overseas. With less than 0.1% of COVID positive samples were sent for the genetic studies, India ranks behind over 100 countries. One of the issues that India is facing today is its inability to find and track the COVID variants, and therefore the medical diagnostics. People who are tested negative, they still have the symptoms, and suddenly on one fine day they have breathlessness, and they get admitted into the hospital and lose lives. This has been the story of many of the people. That's because of the lack of medical diagnostic procedures, that's and its inability to track the COVID variants from the second wave. The over 37.42 lakh samples were tested for COVID, and in which 20.44 lakhs in last 24 hours, says the Indian Council of Medical Research. We can see how the amount of cases are woefully exponentially increasing. India's corona cases recede, but high death toll still a concern. So this has also been published in many of the dailies, saying that the government is underplaying the stats for various reasons, and there is not allowing people to come in terms with the reality, and all of a sudden they go through these issues, especially lack of medical infrastructure and lack of facilities which can take care of their basic medical needs, and but the high death toll is still a concern. India reports about 94,052 new COVID cases in 24 hours. The death sees massive jump as Bihar revises the tally. And here you can see, especially in Hyderabad, 3,403 deaths in last 24 hours. In Bihar, it's about 9,542. And here it talks about the airborne transmission, a primary contributor to COVID-19 spread. Till last year, it was water droplet transmission is also a primary contributor for the COVID-19 spread. A few weeks ago, on 31st of May 2021, Devi Parashakti had revealed that it is an actually airborne virus, and weeks later, the medical experts confirmed that it is airborne transmission, which is the primary contributor to COVID-19 spread. And the secondary infections like black fungus. So people who get vaccinated and people who get recovered from COVID, all of their immunity levels drastically reduce, and they're prone to secondary infections like white fungus, yellow fungus, and so forth. And especially in the case of black fungus, the secondary infection rate is so high that, such that the mortality, such that it grew up to 150% in 3 weeks, to 31,000 deaths over 2,100 people. And the sad state of affairs is that because we have not found we are in shortage of the antibiotics or the key drug that can fight against this black fungus infection, the mortality rate is about 70%. The black fungus new scare in India as the second COVID wave ebbs. As the devastating second wave of COVID-19 ebbs with less than 100,000 new cases reported on Tuesday, India is now battling a new scare, which is this black fungus. And the health minister has already told that it'll be 28,000 cases of this black fungal infection has been reported so far. And when the first world countries close their borders during this massive global emergency, it is Kailasa, it is the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Swamiji. He has opened his doors of Kailasa to all without exception, to all living beings. He has opened the doors of Kailasa to protect themselves from the ongoing pandemic. A number of free COVID care centers are opened across India, which includes the Adi Kailasa and Bidadi, Bangalore, Salem Adinam, Thiruvannamalai Adinam, Rajapalayam Adinam, Puduvai Adinam, Pattanam Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Siragapadi Adinam, Sripuram Adinam in Hyderabad, Madurai Adinam, Avattipalayam in Tamil Nadu, Hosur Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Baroda Adinam in Gujarat. And in these COVID care centers, like we mentioned, there are multiple free COVID care centers are open across India. Various social services are offered during the pandemic in Kailasa's de facto spiritual embassies across India. Spiritual services along with the social services are also offered in these spiritual embassies. And more than that, the cosmic revelations on global pandemic, the Devi Parashakti has been revealing so many important revelations that makes people to prepare themselves on this ongoing pandemic. So the number of social services that are being offered during pandemic in Nityananda ashrams across India includes medical care, which is allopathy, Ayurveda, Siddha medicine, fire safety equipment maintenance, infrastructure to accommodate thousands. So currently in Adi Kailasa, we are preparing the infrastructure to accommodate at least 10,000 people, and accommodation for the multi-layered quarantine. Then we have ICU on wheels, emergency ambulances to ensure that the right medical infrastructure is provided to people. And we have an enormous amount of personal protective medical equipment. And to ensure the food insecurity issues are being addressed, we have groceries that are collected for Annadan for about next 3 years. And to ensure that sustainable practices are in place, we have organic farming in the Adi Kailasa COVID Care Protection Center. So if you are one of them who's affected by this ongoing pandemic, especially you feel so insecure, given that the amount of harassment or the amount of insecurity that you're facing because of the lack of medical infrastructure, and you want to protect yourself and your loved ones from this ongoing pandemic, here we have the multi-layered quarantine COVID Care Protection Center in Adi Kailasa. And if you're interested to be part of it, please log into kailasa.org/Kailasa Care. Yes, the next. Okay, before we go to the next segment, let's have a short break. We'll be right back.
Nityanandam, and welcome back, one and everyone. Now, we will go into one unique segment for today, which is one of the core 5 pillars of the enlightenment spiritual ecosystem of Kailasas, temple ecosystems. As one may know, anyone who has heard Bhagwan, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, or seen him in person, one thing that really hits us is his immense love, respect, and pride for this one major pillar of Kailasa, which is temples. Kailasa Department of Religion and Worship, Department of Human Services, and each of Kailasa's temple ecosystems consider the right of happiness, yes, you heard it right, the right of happiness, to be the highest fundamental right of all humans, in fact, all beings, not just human beings, all life forms. The ultimate goal for Hinduism and Kailasa, led by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagat Guru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagwan Nityananda Paramashivam, is the material and spiritual well-being and prosperity of humanity and life at large. Kailasa is a place where everything related to superconsciousness is revived. These are the words of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism just about 2 years back, when he reminded us all the sampradayas, all the spiritual ecosystems created for enlightenment, will be revived and established in such a way it never gets lost again, there forever serving the humanity. That is the vision, mission of Kailasa, and all the efforts of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism are single-pointedly focused towards this. What does the revival of Hinduism's temple ecosystems consist of? Let us take a look at what it implies and what does it really take.
Ecosystem. I'm going to create absolutely from the scratch newly.
Sorry for the technical glitch. Just about, we'll hear Bhagavan himself say what this Hindu temple ecosystems revival consists of.
Revive Hinduism by setting up a model community, enlightenment ecosystem. I'm going to create absolutely from the scratch newly. Self-sustaining, temple-based, Hindu ancient enlightenment ecosystem and civilization based on that. Understand? Kailasa is reviving the ancient Hindu enlightened civilization. Paramashiva himself manifested this Kailasa Mandala, the enlightenment ecosystem, and the lifestyle. I am going to revive this whole enlightenment ecosystem, Kailasa, by creating a model Kailasas all over the world. I am
Paramashivam has dedicated his life and made it his mission to bring global peace program take part in the celebrations of a traditional flag hoisting ceremony. December of the same year, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism conducting the Life Bliss Program Level 2, which was called the Nityananda Spurna Program, a meditation workshop, as one can see in Chennai and Tamil Nadu in South India, attended by thousands, tens of thousands of people. Day in and day out, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism conducting meditation workshops, yoga workshops, spiritual counseling, providing these powerful life solutions to one and all, one by one, reaching out to every human being and teaching this life science, this eternal cosmic truths to enable humanity to live happily in a blissful way and contribute so that the planet Earth becomes a blissful place to live in. One can see various meditation programs and the yatras. One can see here, spiritual yatra is a very fundamental component of Hinduism, where the pilgrimages to the spiritual places, the sacred spaces on this planet Earth, which naturally provide a way to connect to the divine. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has always, which are home to thousands and lakhs of rishis and evolved beings.
Here you can see the temple ecosystems of Tiruvannamalai, which serves as a driving factor in maintaining the lifestyle of health, wealth, and well-being of denizens of Tiruvannamalai, one of the remaining living enlightenment ecosystems. Here, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is inaugurating the Kodikan Ratha Yatra, which is one of the ancient traditions that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism had revived to ensure that the temple ecosystems are revived. Here, the peacekeepers of Kailasa and the participants of Paramashivoham meditation workshop taking part in morning meditation and traditional puja or the ritualistic worship in Adi Kailasa. The distribution of sweet butter as part of Krishna Janmashtami celebrations. You can see every single level, in all levels, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was reviving these temple ecosystems to ensure that peace, harmony, and the authentic Sanatana Hindu Dharma is always revived. Here, beautiful pictures of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism playfully colorful celebrations of Krishna Janmashtami in Adi Kailasa Bidadi. As part of the same Krishna Janmashtami celebrations, the peacekeepers of Kailasa distributing free organic food to public. Here, the peacekeepers of Kailasa, led by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, takes part in Karaseva, the voluntary contributions of physical service towards the cleaning or the construction of the sacred Hindu temple.
Here one should understand that this is multifaceted contribution or teaching done directly by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. One, in so-called modern words, where literally every brick of Adi Kailasa's ecosystem has been built with the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism's sweat and blood, literally. And here, he's also teaching us that particularly for the temple ecosystem, for Paramashiva's temples, as per the agamic injunctions, as per the ordainment of Paramashiva, temple to Paramashiva has to be built by the devotee himself, by the devotees themselves. It is not about money being able to get the people or the workers or the material needed to build the temple. It is about involving oneself directly, physically, and building the temple with one's devotion, with one's space. This is what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was teaching to everyone, all the citizens of Kailasa, by taking the shovel and the pickaxe in his own hand and laying the foundation stone for the Golden Temple and Adi Kailasa. One can see here just a little map of the Kailasa ecosystems around the world, just to give a glimpse of how global Kailasa's de facto embassies ecosystems are. And coming back to how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is engaging himself in not only spiritual services, but hand in hand with various humanitarian efforts to teach people with his own example what it takes to build an enlightenment ecosystem. What is it meant to do? How does it serve people? In this case, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself directly serving Annadan and doing the services. The Adi Nityananda Peetham, Tiruchengood Sarvanya Peetham, the very first temple ecosystem established by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagat Guru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness, Bhagwan Nityananda Paramashivam, at the age of just 23, on the banks of the sacred river Kaveri in 2001. This was the start of the borderless Hindu temple ecosystem, the enlightened civilization today that we know as Kailasa. And then the Adi Kailasa Nityananda Peetham in Bidadi, under the grace and compassion of the Kalpavriksha, the sacred banyan tree. After having a vision of this sacred banyan tree, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism had established the Adi Kailasa temple ecosystem with this same banyan tree, the Kalpavriksha, main headquarters, the spiritual headquarters of Kailasa, and the foundation stone of this being laid way back in 2003. This sacred ecosystem housing the Kalpavriksha, Nityanandeshwara, Nityanandeshwari, the divine forms of the primordial principle, Paramashiva and Parashakti, as well as the Swayambhu Linga, the Moolavar, which was formed naturally in the cave of the sacred Kalpavriksha. Through the live stream, all of these deities and living energies are available to bless each and every one of us 24/7. No matter where we are, we can reach out to them and have our prayers and boons answered. The various religious services being offered in the Adi Kailasa Nityananda Peetham in Bidadi, continuous flow of worship and temple services that happens 24 hours as per the Veda Agamic injunctions. And similarly, Kailasa ecosystems worldwide. In Los Angeles, the Los Angeles temple, first inaugurated in 2005 and then established in its permanent location in 2007, houses the largest Shivalinga and Rajarajeshwari Devi in North America. Here, at a 25,000 square feet temple complex housing 80 plus deities, it is one of the largest Hindu temple ecosystems in the West.
The first temple established by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism outside India in Ohio. The temple just came in life just within 9 months. The presiding deity of the temple is Nityanandeshwara and Devi Nityanandeshwari. And here is the Kailasa in Seattle. You can see a blissful dancing form of Ganesha, and the largest living Nataraja deity outside of India is housed in Kailasa in Seattle. And the Kailasa in San Jose, California, being inaugurated in 2009, which radiates the energy of Madurai Meenakshi Temple, the chief presiding deity being Devi Meenakshi, Lord Shiva and Nityanandeshwara and Nityanandeshwari, installed and energized by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself. And next we are seeing the Kailasa in St. Louis. So this is a beautiful landscape among woods and rolling hills of Missouri, stretches to about 20 acres. And here, the Kailasa in St. Louis houses one of the tallest Venkateshwara deities in North America, along with his concerts. Next, we have Kailasa in Phoenix, Arizona, which is a home for 21 deities and a temple structure of 2,500 square feet. Kailasa in Phoenix, it's directly established by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, and it's been serving the people in Phoenix for over 7 years. Next is the Kailasa in Houston, Texas, which was formally inaugurated in 2017 as the Parihara Sthala for all the Navagraha doshas. Next, we have Kailasa in Toronto, which was inaugurated in July 2011, with all 63 Nayanmars and 18 Siddhas residing as deities in Kailasa in Toronto. The temple deities here are seated exactly as they are existentially preside in Kailasa around Paramashiva, the primordial deity of Hinduism. And from then onwards, the Kailasa in Toronto has been radiating the super conscious energy of Kailasa in various socio-spiritual activities, including Annadan and traditional Hindu ceremonies. Before we go to the next segment, let's have a short break. We'll be right back.
And setting model community. Kailasa enlightenment ecosystems, Sarvanya Peethas all over the world. All powerful cognition, knowledge, only when you live, power manifestation and possibilities manifestation happens. It's a fundamental truth. Hinduism cannot live exclusively as one sampradaya. No. All sampradayas of Hinduism is an ecosystem. So don't keep quiet thinking that if one sampradaya is attacked, only that sampradaya is going to be affected. All of us are ecosystem. I invite all of you to get involved and enjoy Hinduism by the principle of Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha. When you protect Dharma, Dharma protects you. We will make the whole planet flourish spiritually. The spiritual prosperity will happen to the whole planet here. We all have to coexist together.
We get you health. We get you ability to build beautiful relationships in your life. We get you direct spiritual support, and we make sure you become wealthy. We won't stop giving you just good life. We will literally not stop till you live enlightened life. Manifesting the state of Paramashiva, space of Paramashiva, powers of Paramashiva, being of Paramashiva. Whole world should become Ekailashian.
Nityanandam. And let's resume the next segment. The making of these Adi Kailasa Sarvanyapitham, historical in every way. Actually, the uniqueness of the Adi Kailasa Sarvanyapitham is it embodies every aspect practically of the Hindu enlightenment ecosystem. Every aspect for every being, not just human beings, for every life form. Today we will explore one such aspect which is unique, once again, to Kailasa's ecosystems. The enlightenment ecosystems, needless to say, are an embodiment of all inclusiveness, of all life forms coexisting beautifully in bliss and harmony. So today, we will see how Kailasa's not only ecosystems, but even the COVID care centers offer safe shelter for all living beings. To get this perspective, one would like to see what various world leaders and perspectives are with relation to this particular aspect of bliss and harmony for all living beings. Antonio Guterres on the climate crisis says we're coming to a point of no return. Before meeting the leaders of the world's major economic powers at the G7 summit in the United Kingdom, Antonio Guterres said he was concerned that the richest nations have pumped billions of dollars more into fossil fuels than clean energy since the pandemic, despite their promises of a green recovery. Being green is all about being inclusive for all life forms, be it flora, fauna, trees, plants, insects, animals, everything. One can see the currently how we are treating animal life. The sperm whale here, as you can see, and this is as late as just a few days back on June the 8th, the animal was severely emaciated. This is what Holmes Douglas had to say. We get animals in poor body condition that are sometimes just skinny, but this animal was definitely emaciated. It's been many years since we've dealt with a large whale. These strandings can be caused by anything. It could be contaminants, weather conditions, natural toxins. We haven't seen any signs of human interaction. This has come in the News Herald story where the sperm whale being washed ashore. And now COVID spreading from humans to animals. The novel coronavirus has hit the human race hard for over 5 months now, but we are not the only species that is suffering the effects of COVID-19. on animals came to the forefront when cats, dogs, and even tigers tested positive for COVID-19. One can see here in the news, one lion died of the COVID-19 pandemic, and 9 other lions have tested positive for the virus at the Arignar Anna Zoological Park in Vandalur. The zoo authorities on May 26 had said that 5 lions housed in the safari park area were reportedly showing anorexia, that is loss of appetite, and occasional coughing. This is again news from this month on 4th of June. One can see even elephants being victims of this COVID-19 pandemic after the lion's death. 1 lion died of COVID-19 and 9 other lions tested positive, and then about 21 tigers in a zoo in the eastern state of Jharkhand underwent virus tests last week after a 10-year-old tiger with a fever died. And the local media had to report this, that every life form, even literally the coronavirus spreading wildly, even among wildlife. Mink have been discovered to be highly susceptible to the SARS-CoV-2, and this is the 3rd Fraser Valley farm to be hit with COVID-19 outbreak since the start of the pandemic. This is what the news has to say in the Vancouver Sun News, where the local news about Vancouver is saying that it's the 3rd BC mink farm to deal with an outbreak since the start of the pandemic. The ministry says genetic analysis of samples from the first 2 farms showed that the workers and animals were infected with an identical or nearly identical virus strain. The strain detected in those cases had been circulating in people in BC, indicating COVID-19 spread from people to animals and not the other way around, the ministry said in a categorical statement. In early November last year, more than 15 million mink farmed for their fur were culled in Denmark as they had caught COVID-19. So all the way across the Americas, Canada, Europe, Asia's, it's all out there.
Eight Western lowland gorillas have been infected with novel coronavirus disease at San Diego Safari Park. 2 of the gorillas have been coughing since January 6, 2021. The fecal samples confirm that they are suffering from COVID-19. So you can see why restricted to human beings, but it is affecting a wide range of species, any animal species. On 5th of April 2020, a 4-year-old Malayan tiger at New York City Zoo has been infected with COVID-2 second strain. And here we have a number of small pet cats and dogs also been reported to be infected with SARS-CoV strain 2 in several countries, including United States. Most of these pets become sick after contact with people with COVID-19. And not to mention, the world has not accounted the number of deaths, especially in this species, how many other living beings have been dead because of COVID-19. And here in South Africa, a puma, tigers in a Tennessee zoo, they have been tested positive for showing these signs of respiratory illness. And 4 zoo lions in Barcelona, Spain have been found positive for COVID-19 in the last week of December 2020. The risk of virus spreading from animals to human is incredibly rare. It appears, however, the virus can spread from people to animals in some situation, especially during the close contact. So in the cases of all the zoos, and it is mostly transmitted from the staff who are taking care of the animals, and that from them it's been transmitted to these living beings. So the Kailasa's COVID care protection centers, it is just not limited only for human beings. It is limited to, it is opened for all the living beings. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has opened the doors of Kailasa not just for people, but also for all the living beings. You can see here how blissfully all the living beings are residing in these COVID care protection centers.
One can see here, this is just a few pictures from the COVID care protection centers housing beautiful birds. The Kailasas Department of Environment and Animals welcomed the first animal members of our COVID protection center who arrived as pets of the first batch of quarantined members. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has welcomed all beings at our campuses always and ensured the provision of sanctuary facilities for the pets and the animals who will be cared for in an extremely non-violent, absolutely non-violent and purely vegetarian lifestyle, even for these life forms. One can see here very pretty pictures of these birds and the life forms enjoying their food and stay at the COVID care center, protection centers of Adi Kailasa. And the residents, the citizens of Adi Kailash also enjoying their blissful presence. The kids of the Nityananda Gurukul, the students playing and having a fun time with these animals, birds. One can see here like extremely even small life forms like turtles being nourished and given protection for their life, not only from the outside world, but also from their other fellow members in the form of other life forms. And as
actually one of the
yes,
yeah, Ashla Swami, sorry, I just remembered one of the comment made by a participant from Kanchipuram, COVID care, who came here to Adi Kailasa for COVID care protection. She mentioned that the last 1.5 years, she's been just within the four walls of her apartment. She has not been out in the nature. And as soon as she entered Adi Kailasa, she was so happy and blissful to see so many dogs, cats, monkeys, and birds. That kind of ambience that which she was missing for last 1.5 years, she felt so comfortable and really blissful to watch how living beings also enjoy the sacred space of Adi Kailasa, which is directly blessed and energized by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Swamiji.
And one can see here, as many of us would have heard the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism recount to us how Adi Shankara, when he witnessed the sacred space of a frog and a snake coexisting, where the frog was about to deliver its offspring, and the snake found, and it was raining, and the snake raised its hood to protect the frog. The coexistence, the peaceful coexistence of various life forms, including so-called natural enemies. That is when Adi Shankara felt that was a space where he had to establish the Shankara Mat. And similarly, one can see in the pictures over here various so-called natural enemies, be it a cat and a bird like a parrot, sitting and enjoying and practically playing with each other. This is a very common scene which one can see in Adi Kailash because of the extremely non-violent space created by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, where every life form exists as literally an obedient servant to Paramashiva himself. One can see here in the news where honeybees, including honeybees, are battling their own pandemic. According to Greenpeace, bees are dying from a variety of factors, including pesticides, drought, habitat destruction, nutrition deficit, air pollution, and climate change. One can see in the news just about a month back, where the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism reminded us that even some life forms like bees are so sensitive to their environment, and how they behave speaks a lot about the cleanliness and the level of the pollution in that environment. What Bhagavan revealed was For a bee to survive, 4 things are required. 1, the ground cannot be polluted. In polluted ground, if a flower grows, if the bees drink that honey, it will actually die in a few seconds. First thing, the land has to be pure. Second thing, from that land, the flowers which come up, they have to be pure, means the air has to be pure. Third, water source has to be pure. Only then the honey which comes in that water, in that flower, will be pure, so that bee can drink that honey, flourish, and build a honeycomb. Pollution also seems to have a direct correlation with the survival rates of bees, as we saw. Bees collected from moderate and highly polluted areas died within a day of collection. 80% of bees from these areas died within 24 hours, and all of them died within 1.5 days in the laboratory. So this is the way in which beings like bees are so fundamental for us to realize if bees can survive, it is a huge statement about the purity of the space, the air, the water, the ground. And needless to say, in Adi Kailasa ecosystem, the presence of bees and the honeycombs, huge honeycombs, is a very common sight, as we will see just in a few minutes. Similarly, sparrows have very sensitive lungs. If the air pollution level in that area is very pure, only then the sparrows will come and live there, survive there. If the sparrows are not living or chirping, that place, air pollution is not conducive for human lungs to breathe. Tons of articles are coming out in the modern day. The chemtrails, chemical trails are infused to keep human beings dull, sober, sick, and under control. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, way back in March of 2018, said, "You breathe only poisonous air, then what is the use? You live in a place where the sparrows cannot exist. Adinam, everywhere honeycomb, from Nairuti, the banyan tree, near the banyan tree now, especially with the new temple construction, so many, until the Ishanya, that whole diagonal, 1,000-bed dome. This whole diagonal, you can see honeycombs, means the whole area. Water, level, ground, air, all 3 are pure. Squirrels drinking our kitchen wastage out, the wastage water. From our kitchen, the wastage water comes out. Early morning, you can see they will all be drinking. Cranes, doves, squirrels, all of them drink that water and survive and enjoy. That shows our whole kitchen is running in the organic level, which can be handled even by an animal's intestine. So one can see here an enormous number of sparrows coming and chirping in the wee hours of the morning. And then here you can see right above the 1,000-bed dome, which is part of our multi-layer quarantine, new hives being built in the 1,000-bed dome. Hives of all kinds, ranging from the big to the small, and all kinds of colors and shapes and sizes. If there is a place with a natural honeycomb forming, Paramashiva says that is a blessed ground. Start living there, I reside there. That is the promise of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, the living incarnation of Paramashiva. One can see here, Kailasa campuses are micromanaged directly by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism to revive this enlightenment ecosystem as defined by Paramashiva that keeps the environment in its best possible health and potential. One can see here, literally in the spaces around the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, you have various life forms coming and enjoying and coming for his blessed touch and the blessed space of Adi Kailasa. So that was one more reason why one should sign up for saving one's life, as Devi Parashakti revealed in the Akashic readings. The only purpose, so to speak, in this year, till the end of this year, is be alive. There is nothing else that can be achieved. There is nothing else that remains to be achieved. All that Devi said was remain alive till the end of this year. Once you pass that year, then a whole new realm, a whole new consciousness opens up. Saving one's physical life from death in this critical period till the end of this year is what every human being should be focusing on. And how is the way to do that? join the COVID care protection centers in various Kailasas that have been opened up in India today, starting with the Adi Kailasa Sarvanya Peetham. To register now, you can sign up at the link given below. It will take a few minutes to sign up at kailasa.org/kailasacare.
And there are,
K-A-I-L.
please go ahead, sorry.
The URL goes kailasa.org/KAIL-SAKRCARE.
Actually, there are a number of participants and viewers who are talking about the air in Adi Kailasa as something really special. Absolutely true. Like anybody who has entered this sacred space, they feel the very air is so different. It is so sacred and blissful. And talking about so many sparrows that Swamiji has fed and all these reminiscences. Thank you, Ma Durgananda, for bringing those memories beautifully across in the YouTube chat. Yes, so anybody, whoever wants to feel protected in this ongoing pandemic time, you are all welcome to register yourself through this COVID Care Protection Center, and please join and show your interest in kailasa.org/Kailasa Care. Yes, with this, would like to go to the next segment where we have participants from the Adi Kailasa who have joined us for this COVID Care Protection Center, who are all here to share their experiences of what made them to come and how is the situation out there in Tamil Nadu and how is their stay so far. So before we go to that segment, let's have a short break.
Paramashivoham Om Nityananda Paramashivoham Om Nityananda Paramashivoham Paramashivoham Om Nityananda Paramashivoham Om Nityananda Paramashivoham Paramashivoham Om Nityananda Paramashivoham
Nityananda everyone, welcome back to the program. So we all had a beautiful segment on how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, out of his deep compassion and love, he has opened the doors of Kailasa and he has given the most care and the utmost compassion, giving the multi-layered quarantine opportunity to anyone who reaches the Kailasa COVID care centers across India. So today we have the disciples and devotees of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism who have reached the Adi Kailasa Sarvanya Peetham and quarantined themselves and enjoying the ecosystem and ambience in the Adi Kailasa Sarvanya Peetham. So let us listen to them. Yes. Nityanandam. So today we have Ma Akshaya Krishnagata and Karthik from joining us from Adi Kailasa Sarvanapeetham. So they have been in the multi-layered quarantine, enjoying the ambience and ecosystem in the Adi Kailasa. Let us now listen to them. Nityanandamma.
Nityananda.
Nityanandam. So welcome to the show. So how is the whole experience of reaching Adi Kailasa and having the best protection of multi-layered quarantine in Bidadi? Yes, please go ahead.
First of all, I have to thank to Swamiji and Sangha for giving so many help and protection for us. Here it is very big situation is going in outside because of the corona and this huge pandemic. So no one is safe in outside. But Swamiji is giving very compassionately giving this opportunity for us to save our life in this, especially in Adi Kailasa. We are literally enjoying and not even heard about the word of corona here. We are literally enjoying the place and space of Kailasa, Adi Kailasa, and especially we are aligned with the routine. We are early morning. We are get upping and do yoga and 6 o'clock sharply. We are sitting for puja, and the routine is going well and literally enjoying the place.
We are spiritually involving ourselves. We are getting spiritually matured. Our soul is getting spiritually matured. If we are outside at this time, we would have been lazy and dumb, like do not doing anything or following Swamiji's words, because there is no way of like going outside or any sort of work or something. But here we are totally enjoying and getting spiritually grown up at literally Swamiji's place.
The right Vadavarna happened here.
Amazing. So what was your experience when you stayed outside before reaching Adi Kailasa? And how is this multi-layered quarantine protection given to you in Bidadi, in Adi Kailasa right now when you're experiencing and enjoying that? So what is the difference you are seeing in the protection?
Yes. Outside, mainly the main thing is we could not even breathe. We could not even inhale and fresh air. We were totally inside our house, that particularly in a room, and we were not going outside or we were not doing anything in our home. We were just sitting as it is and just sleeping and doing things. But here we are totally free and we are just living, getting aligned with the nature, and we are totally enjoying the space at Adi Kailasa. And that's what, as Karthikeya said, we do not have even the fear of the word corona. But if we are outside, we would literally every minute and every second, we will have the fear that there is some pandemic that is going on outside. We could not step out of our house for any purpose, even for one meal, we will be suffering so much. Somehow, one of our family members has to go outside and they have to get the things. And of course, it is a very, the situation will be very hard. But here we are totally enjoying things. And we are literally multi-layered, for 15 days we were in quarantine, and now we are just living the space. Yes. And we are just enjoying the space outside. We are doing gardening, and main thing is we are not wearing mask, because outside we could not inhale a fresh air. We will be wearing the mask all the time, and if we are wearing the mask, we could not even breathe freely. It will be like so suffocated inside. But here we are really free, and we are
outside. If we are meeting some new person, we are not seeing that person. We are thinking that hey, corona is coming near.
You could have that space here.
So that here we are seeing everyone is a Sivagana and enjoying others. Really the Sangha people are really taking care. It cannot be imagined. So too many of caring here. So cannot express in words that Swamiji giving that experience.
Yes, amazing. So there were so many obstacles, like when you, as you said, there is only single layer quarantine and home quarantine, which is not much safer to travel around. Even if you are at home, you are at the highest risk of getting the COVID-19 pandemic affecting you. But what made you exactly take this decision to come and reach Adi Kailasa and have this multi-layered quarantine protection for this COVID-19 especially?
Actually, my father-in-law and message Swamiji in that YouTube that Swamiji is kidding and giving command like Odia Odia, come on.
We don't have much time. We should come as early as possible. So we just took the decision in a day, within a few hours, and we didn't even think of we should go later or in a few days we will be going to Adi Kailasha. We just took a decision immediately that we should be there in Adi Kailasha, and we just packed everything and came. It was like
actually in Tamil Nadu that time was full lockdown on Sunday, every Sunday. Swamiji given that command on Saturday morning. After that morning, see if the government is releasing that lockdown, they have to announce one day before, right? But in that Saturday, after Swamiji's command, immediately afternoon only that government is announcing that today, that Saturday and Sunday is removing all the lockdown and people can move. People can freely travel. So after that from Monday onwards, they are fully locked down. So that announcement has came in the news. So immediately we took action and went for the corona test and get that negative test report on the Sunday afternoon. And we started at 4 o'clock on Sunday, and we reached here at 12 o'clock midnight.
So it was a sudden decision, immediate decision that we should not drag Swamiji's words. We just took a decision and just came.
The moment we took that decision, we have to move. Immediately in the news, they are announcing that tomorrow is free from that.
People can travel from anywhere to anywhere. There is no restriction or no lockdowns. So it was like, then they can say yes to Swamiji, and he just cleared all our obstacles, and we just came.
And one more miracle happened during that Karnataka border, that enter. Actually, my brother went there. The officer is asking so many questions from other peoples, but my brother told that we are going to Nityananda Swami Ashram for doing service for COVID-19. They said immediately they approved for us, and we just move from there. But others are not allowed. The people front of my brother and back of my brother, they are not allowed. But my brother got permission and immediately he moved from there.
Exactly. So if you see, when you take a decision to make Guru Work happen, so how Swamiji says, I just rush towards you thousandfold, manyfold times before even you just put one step. So you just need to just decide. So as you see, like a lot of viewers are watching this program. So what would you want to tell the viewers about the importance of reaching Adi Kailasa and to take this multi-layered quarantine as a definitive protection for your life itself? So what would you want to share with the viewers?
See, apart from the corona, we have right Vadavarana here. Apart from corona, we have right Vadavarana. This 6 month, this time duration, we have to build our yogic body, Vedic mind. See, the Bhagavad Gita class is going on there. So it is not possible for us if we are in our home, it is not possible. We are not sitting. We don't have time. If we have time, because of the laziness or tiredness, we are not spending mind for learning this kind of things. But here we have so much of time, not doing anything other than the spiritual routine. So we are in the right Vadavarana. Because of that Vadavarana, we are automatically involved in that learning that Samaskrita and chanting Bhagavad Gita and involving in puja, learning puja and doing yoga, everything. So
the main thing is, like Swamiji said, this year we should be alive first. Only if we are alive, then we can do anything. Like if I am asking some people to come here, devotees itself, we are asking, they're saying they have their job or any sort of reasons. But the first thing, as Swamiji said, we should be alive. Only if we are alive, we can do anything. Like whatever we need, if they are saying that they're taking off their grandparents or the elderly people. So these are the sorts of reasons they are having. But the main thing is, only if they are alive, they can even take care of their parents or grandparents. So that one reason itself is enough for mainly coming to Adi Kailasha. So if you are outside, there is of course 100% risk of getting corona, because the situation is like that. People are just going here and there, and we are getting to interact with the outside people, the vendors, the people in the shops. Some or the other way, we just do that, and people do not quarantine them proper place for them to do their multi-layer quarantine. But here in Swamiji's ashram, we are just multi-layer quarantining ourselves, and even with the we are just like fully protected, 100%. We are just getting protected, and we are not even, that's what, we do not even have the fear of the word corona. We're just living freely, and main thing is that we should be alive. As Swamiji said, the death should not be so cheaper that we should die in a disease. It should be as an enlightened royal thing. So for that reason itself, for just being alive, we can just come to Adi Kailasha immediately. That is the only thing I just wanted to share.
Exactly. So when I see both of you like smiling and having a bubbly face, so when the whole world in this COVID pandemic is actually literally afraid to even open the windows to breathe fresh air, like how Swamiji has created a beautiful ambience where we literally even forget, when Kartikaya was sharing, we literally even forget about keeping ourselves alive. Instead, we think about yogic body, Vedic mind, and how to expand our consciousness. That is the compassion and love of the Supreme Portal of Hinduism, where we literally forget what is happening in the outside world, and we have been completely protected by Paramashiva and Parashakti. Yes. So, what do you want to share more with the viewers about what are the various levels of protection you're receiving, like in terms of Ayurvedic kashayams, in terms of COVID protection care which is given to you, and the organic food that is given to you? So, can you elaborate more on that?
Yes, we are having a Siddha doctor near with us. So he is doing lots of that kashayams and all herbal teas every day morning after yoga. In between that puja, he making that 11 types of herbals. It is nearby. It is not even we are purchasing from outside. In our own campus, everything is growing. So he go and he went and collect everything. 11 items he collected and make tea, herbal tea, and give all of us. We are taking every day that herbal teas and that kasayam and stream. Yeah, that we are taking that stream every day. And
wow. So yes, ma'am.
11 items in one meal. We are just having 11 varieties of items. Organic, everything is organic, and everything is being sanitized and then given to us. And we are like literally enjoying here. Accommodation, everything, like we are being in
we have more than comfortable compared to my home. We are having more comfortable compared to my home. Here we are very comfortable stay.
Wow, amazing. So thank you so much, Ma Akshaya and Kartikeya, for coming and sharing your experiences of how you're enjoying the experience in Adi Kailasha Sadhana. Yes. So with that, so thank you everyone. So we just had a beautiful sharing from our devotees from Chennai. So how literally when the whole world is facing death in lakhs every day, you forget about that, and you're just protected in the multi-layered level, and you're given the utmost care with immune boosters, with all the protective aids, and even if you have any milder symptoms, you have the best medical care that is offered with organic food, and literally just you sleeping on the lap of Parashakti and enjoying her presence in Adi Kailasa. So with that, we come to the end of this segment, and we'll be moving on to the next segment of power manifestation. So let us gather back for the next segment of power manifestation. So thank you everyone. Nityanandam.
I bless you all. Let you all open all your three eyes. welcome you all with my love and respect. Let you all open all your three eyes. Om Nityananda.
ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वदी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि. Let's go through the disclaimers. Security measures: no photography, video, audio recording. Important cautions: please be aware of the important cautions. What is power manifestation? Let's hear from Bhagwan himself explaining what is power manifestation.
All the 25 states of consciousness, when they happen in you due to your chemicals and hormones ups and downs, it is powerlessness. When it happens in you out of your free will and consciousness, it is powerfulness. That's all. When you fall into sleep, it is powerlessness. When you enter into sleep, it is powerfulness. When you fall into dream, it is powerlessness. When you decide to dream, it is powerfulness. So I have added the ultimate powerfulness, Turyatita, in your whole being and doing. Manifest all the powers. Understand, power manifestation is nothing but cognitive shift. It is not work. It is cognitive shift. Understand? It is just cognitive shift. It's not work. Work is a 4-letter word. Power manifestation is cognitive shift. Playing with life. Playing with being alive. Static matter, dynamic activity, strategic existence. All these three has no boundary. You are one with it. You are alive in everything. Everything listens to you. Everything decides as you want. Power manifestation is cognitive shift, raising your frequency, not work.
Science of power manifestation. Science of power manifestation is authentic, time-tested, scientific, and foolproof. This is a science because it can be repeated by anyone and repeated any number of times. And the evidences for the science, the evidences from the scriptures, the Shastra Pramana, the eternal unchangeable truth revealed in the source scriptures, the Vedas and the Agamas. Apta Pramana, experience and results of the Aptas, the Rishis, Munis, Ganas, Nayanamas, Alvars, Siddhas, all of them are authority of Hinduism, who manifested all the powers of Paramashiva, which is authentic, time-tested, scientific, and foolproof. All of them from human became the superconscious being. Apta Pramana, Atma Pramana, account of His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, this millennium's avatar's personal experience of our manifestation. Bhagavan's very own Leelas. Bhagavan has mapped it as per the Apta and as per the Shastra with the reference manifesting all the powers of Paramashiva. Shakshi Pramana, like all of us, experience of the devotees, followers and disciples all around the world manifesting the powers of Paramashiva initiated by Bhagavan himself. Bhagavan beautifully says, whoever comes to the Kailash Kotiyar manifesting power group, simply I will be there, the presence will be felt and manifest as their reality. Each of that, he clears our blocks and floods us with auspiciousness of all the gift that he gives us. For each one of us, beautifully he has gone into the meticulous work of making it for each one of us package and simply making each one of us experience. That is Kailash Kotiar. And Pratyaksha Pramana. Pratyaksha Pramana is the scientific study measuring the effect of being in the enlightened state. Bhagavan has beautifully given us the thoughtless space that can be simply experienced when you are in oneness with Paramashiva. Again and again, there are trillions of research which is happening, how the quantum works, how the brain elasticity works, the mirroring neuron, all that they are studying in a very expensive way. Here, Bhagwan just makes us sit with a cup of a coffee or a chocolate and makes us manifest all the powers and puts us into the thoughtless space. Yes, as per science, the thoughtless space for 3 to 4 seconds is possible. And we are initiated devotees, disciples, followers of Bhagwan. Those 3 seconds will manifest as the highest reality. The abundance start flowing in us. The more we are in the conscious space, more we experience the higher reality. Let's go to the Shastra Pramana. The Shastra Pramana from Veda Agamas. All these references beautifully Bhagwan has given. The 112 Shiva Sutras, Bhagwan has spoken on each one of them and clearly said each one of them can become a religion. That powerful they are, each of them can transform us into the ultimate reality. The Shiva Sutra for the power, scriptural reference for the power of will, changing the taste of liquid or solid. This is from Shiva Sutra, Sutra 1.13, Icha Shakti Uma Kumari. Bhagwan Parameshiva says his will is the energy of Shiva and it is called Uma, and the independent power of Parameshiva and it is called Kumari, the cosmic energy that plays. Bhagwan beautifully shares how Shiva Sankalpa Mama Samakalpa is the free will. Is it life predetermined or free-willed? Clearly he says that as long as we are in delusion that the outer world exists as we perceive, we are in bondage. Everything is predetermined because based on our past, we are running our life. But when we get out of that and experience the oneness with Paramashiva, the ultimate reality, it's simply we get a next level of way of existing as consciousness, a superconscious being, that it becomes free-willed. It's like you being a slave in a chocolate factory and you being the owner of the chocolate factory. That is the difference between the predetermined and free-willed. You become the owner. You can do anything in the chocolate factory to manifest as your reality. That's exactly how Bhagavan has given us this ultimate science for each one of us to experience. In NASA, they spend billions of dollars for doing all these experiments. Bhagavan, just in oneness, we can manifest all these reality. Each one of us experiencing this again and again in every session proves very clearly all of us can manifest all the powers of Paramashiva. It's just that we have to engage ourselves more into the Paramashiva space. Bhagavan beautifully says how everything that we do, when we offer to Bhagavan and then we consume, then the whole thing that exists is completely new. For example, in Tirupati, the laddu has been made. Every day they offer it to Venkateshwara, and then the laddu changes phenomenal that nobody is able to recreate that very taste. It is not because of the logical thinking of how much of each added amount of things in the laddu, but it is much more than that. We are adding consciousness. Bhagavan beautifully gave a reference. He says in a story where there was they were asked, all the mad people who lost money and became mad were asked to draw some pictures. And all of them landed up drawing the same kind of pictures. And the doctor who was analyzing all these pictures again and again to study how each one is carrying their incompletion became mad. When we are engrossed in something, we become that. The Vata Varna is so important. because unconsciously we are imbibing all these, whatever is presented to us, much more than consciously we are understanding what's going on. So that is why Bhagavan says, when you are in the beautiful space like Kailash Kutyar, the meditation space where every day you experience the highest reality again and again, that you are consciousness, you are Paramashiva, then the whole biomemory, muscle memory starts speaking that language. And everything you do throughout the day, if you hold that ajapa japa and that vata varna again, you are living as conscious being, and soon enough you will experience that you stop reacting. You are in Paramashanta Swarupa, you are in complete, even in chaos, nothing is going wrong in your life, because everything looks auspicious, because you are in the space of Paramashiva. More and more you will start seeing the changes happening around you, in spite of the chaos which is going through, that we are going through, and nothing other touches us. And also auspicious and abundance start flowing in us, because of the space that we are now in is complete the restful awareness. The auspiciousness happens when we have the cognitive shift. Cognitive shift, that outer world that we understand, what we understand as outer world, is not the way we perceive the truth. The truth is the quantum space, the Paramashiva space, that nothing can be lost. Bhagavan clearly says we cannot be violated, that nothing can be added to or removed from infinity. Then it is not infinity. If we are infinity, then I cannot be less than that anytime. If we have that beautiful space of oneness, we understand the higher reality, all the fear and greed just drops, and we understand that beautiful space of oneness matters the most. How in Tirupati the Laddu became the conscious Laddu. In Shivacharya says in the Agama that even if you drink, offer it to Lord and then start taking it. Beautifully, all these truth really become our own self. Whatever you eat, food is your body. And if you offer everything to Paramashiva and take it, what are you taking? You're taking only consciousness. And more consciousness, the Paramashiva space that you are in, you become that. You become the owner. You become free-willed. It's like you can now manifest whatever you want as your reality, as Paramashiva simply makes it happen. Let's go to Apta Pramana. The power of will is so powerful that you can go beyond all the Panchabhuta. Here, there was a huge storm. This is from Sai Charitra. This is chapter 11. Baba, they all ran to Baba because there was so much of thunderstorm, so much of flooding, and they could not do anything in the village. So many things, you can see how Baba manifested the higher reality. And simply he told the storm, stop your fury and be calm. That's all, to the storm. Not to a human being, to the storm, he said, and simply it settles down and the moon came out and everybody went back to their routine. This was all possible because Baba is in that space of superconscious space, or simply Paramashiva manifesting through him. All we need to do is, all of us can experience this. Who said it's not possible? So many millions of them are experiencing again and again and again. And same we can also experience. We don't have to drop anything. We have to drop which is not there, which is the fear and greed. And the incompletions go along with that and causing so much of trauma in our life. The pure space that we are. How Dhruva, he was so intense. He told his mother, I am going to go and meditate on Vishnu. The mother said, till he appears physically, don't stop it. So dedicatedly he stood, and he stood for 3 months. He stood on one leg. He stopped sleeping the next month. He stopped eating the next month. Then he stopped breathing. Literally all the lokas started shivering and shaking. A small kid could hold that level of integrity to the space. I have to see Vishnu in physical form, not in my third eye. That very powerful statement that he grounded himself for the higher reality, simply shook the lokas. Bhagavan says, if Brahma has to appear, he will appear. if you are very clear with your cognitions, the clarity in that small child, other than that thought, he didn't have any other thought. That was the power of will. Power of will is something you have cognized, like you know the colors, you know the shapes, you know the places, so many things. Like that, if you have the power of will to cognize, you are Paramashiva. Very clearly, Paramashiva has to happen to you. There is no other go. Only thing we think that something has to happen and then we will accept it. That's where we miss out. If you clearly define Paramashiva will happen, life is contribution for others, simply you will see life just unfolding and manifesting as n dimension for you as reality and auspiciousness. Now let's hear Bhagavan speak.
But these 5 are the basic unit states of consciousness. Your concept of life, death, sex, wealth, purpose of life, goal of life, methodology of life, everything changes based on the state you start celebrating your existence. If you celebrate the dream state of you as the best way of existence, then more and more you will get addicted to pornography, drugs, this delusion inducing lifestyle. You will get more and more addicted to delusion inducing products, goods, services, pornography and drugs. Don't think it's a coincidence that both of them are always together. It's not coincidence. Both of them are dream inducing. Both of them induce the same kind of taste and state in you. That's why the drugs and porn are very closely associated. The state you enjoy decides. The state you enjoy decides the products, the lifestyle, the purpose, the goal, all this you are going to entertain, engage in your life. Person who enjoys his dream state or deep sleep state can never tolerate neem juice or castor oil. If you start enjoying neem juice and castor oil every day, your body will never let you waste your life in dream state or deep sleep state. You will have deep sleep, the number of hours you need to keep yourself healthy. Maybe maximum 2 or 3 hours only deep sleep you need. Another 2-3 hours dream state you need to keep yourself healthy. Cope up with the reality and all 5 states of consciousness. If you take regularly these few herbs, Adimaduram, malic acid, castor oil, neem juice, you don't even need 3-4 hours of dream state. I tell you. Especially this Adimaduram, malic acid and all rebuilds your muscles so powerfully. Your nervous system will be so alive. You will never need hours of dream state to keep yourself fit, healthy, awake. I insist at least all my disciples to add these few items in your food directly or indirectly. Even if you can't take neem juice, you are feeling, take neem tablets. The neem tablets are available. Very organic neem tablets are available all over the world. Take 2 tablets. That is okay. That is enough. You will see that the quality of your consciousness starts raising. Understand, the food is directly responsible for the quality of your consciousness. I'm working in a large scale, organizing all the ancient scriptures my gurus taught me on this alchemy science. I'm already planning. Hindus have a great thing to contribute to the humanity. The alchemy science of states of consciousness is unique to Hindus and Hindu tradition. Just by the herbs, the higher states of consciousness is induced in you. Not like drugs, no. Through the pure meditation and herbs, the highest states of consciousness is induced, and whatever you see in that state of consciousness will be directly manifesting in you as powers.
So beautiful. Yes, Bhagwan has beautifully given, and you can also see how Vishwamitra, he created Trishanku Aloka. The king Trishanku wanted to go to Swargaloka with his body and nobody accepted him. And so he created just by the power of will. If we can create Loka, that level of consciousness that we can manifest as reality, just imagine the space that each one of us that we carry. That is why in the Purana, Bhagavan beautifully says, in Devi Purana, that Vishnu and Shiva came out of the nails of Devi. And then in Shiva Purana, Devi and Vishnu is standing as Dwarabalaka for Shiva. Each of these Purana just praise themselves to the highest reality. Each one of us can experience the highest consciousness is how we exist. Each one is a Brahman, infinity, and each one is manifesting our reality continuously. But if we understand that we are manifesting, who is manifesting is Paramashiva, through all of us, we will be manifesting the highest signs. Here we have the Shakshi Pramana, who has manifested couple of powers. They said they have manifested the power of increasing and decreasing their toes, and simply the pain also went away. Bhagavan says the pain is the most thought lie in the world, because as consciousness there is no pain. Quantum does not have talk about pain anywhere. It is only the frequency. So where is the pain coming in? Because we think we are the body, and consciously we are not thought that pain is a lie to focus where is the pain. Bhagavan says wherever the presence is, pain cannot exist. If you sit and focus where the pain is in your body, where it is paining, simply the pain disappears. And you keep doing this again and again, you master the pain. Like Balasans, they master the pain. Many of the Balasans have had fracture, not one or two. And simply they do not experience pain. Same way they are, Dira and Maria is explaining that they changed the water. First it became bitter and then sweet. For Maria, it was sweet both the times in both the cycles. All these were possible when we understand not only our thoughts, thinking we add in our recipe, we can add consciousness also. And when we add consciousness more and more, it becomes blissful food. So let's go to the instruction to manifest the power of will, the most beautiful space that we can experience. And really we can see it in reality. This is one of the beautiful power that Bhagavan has given, where we can experience it with our senses. How your eyes, your nose, and your experiences all can experience that there is a consciousness which is manifested as powers. And it is not matter. A dead body is also a matter which has five senses. The minute the person is dead, can we pour a juice and ask them to experience anything? Nothing happens. There is something which even the five senses experience is the consciousness. If we understand more and more the higher science, there is something more. We'll get curious about it. We don't have to define anything, but just get curious about it. That is enough for us to get into the higher space. Now let's go to the guidelines. If you have the camera ready, please set the camera with the timestamp. These are extraordinary moments that you cannot record. NASA spends billions of dollars to record all these things. You are sitting with a mug of coffee and enjoying Parashakti, and you are experiencing all these powers. Even as little powers as once in 15 days you experience, it is worth recording all these things. And if you have the Nyaranjan in your Kantamala, if you've got the Kantamala, you can apply in your third eye and your temple. If you do not have, that's okay. You can have the Basma. If you don't have the Basma also, the turmeric, apply the turmeric every day to detox the third eye, Bhagavan says. In the night and the day, if you apply, it will detox the third eye. If you have a partner, wonderful, or you're going to do it by yourself. It can be liquid or solid, but clearly keep the liquids. Taste it a couple of times and take strong ones, like you can take cardamom, you can take coffee or tea, you can have different things kept, and please write what you want it to change, or a plain glass of water. And if you want sweet taste, you can write, I want to change this as sweet, and put a label clearly so that you can take a picture, and after the change again test it twice to make sure authentically it has changed the taste. You are offering the Naivedyam and you're going to have the Prasada. And all these, the greatest signs, everything when we offer to Bhagavan and when we receive that, simply the whole dimension changes. In Indian cooking, what they used to do, of course, long ago, every time they start cooking, they'll make a mound, like a mound, a small hill, like so much, and they will keep it as Ganesha. And then they offer everything as Ganesha. Everything will cook and come back with correct taste, correct salt, correct sweet, everything perfect. So all that we are going to do is hold Parashakti in your inner space and manifest the power of will. The power of will, static matter, that everything that exists, everything that you know, you don't know, everything is Paramashiva. Strategic exists, the dynamic activity that happens is the Devi, Parashakti, constant vibration happening as reality. The third, the strategic existence, the power of will, how you decided to walk, talk. Whoever decides whatever in their life, they master that, they become the best in that. Here, Bhagavan is holding that powerful space. Yes, Bhagavan is residing in me and he will manifest whenever I ask. You're $1 trillion child. Be very clear, if you're in Kailash Courtyard, you are blessed. Blessed to be in that space of meditative space and be in the Paramashanta Swarupa space and not have any of the reactions that is going on, because you are the chosen one, Bhagavan says. Unless we are the chosen one, we can't come here for hearing these words. We would have switched off long back saying, oh no, I don't want to do all these things. But we are here and we understand our brain is able to catch something more than logic. Be very clear, Bhagavan says, go do an Anga Pradakshina and go round yourself and thank Bhagavan and thank yourself for creating that space for you. Now let's sit straight, head, neck and spine in a straight line. Bring Paramashiva, Parashakti, the deep meditative space that Bhagavan has given this beautiful space for all of us. And he says in Kailash Courtyard, I myself will be present, and you can feel the presence of Bhagavan, Parashakti. Hold yourself with the 25 heads of Devi. Yes, you has 25 heads and 75 hands and 50 hands and 75 eyes. Drop your cell phone. After that, you can hold your cell phone with the hands. Now, hold that Parashakti in your third eye. Few minutes, a deep meditation. Let's see what happens and what we experience. Absolute unclutch from everything you know as your outer world. What could happen? Just experience that. Only I will hold Paramashiva, Parashakti. That is Thyaga. Sacrifice is not Thyaga of something what you have. Bhagavan says, what you don't have is what I ask. The confusion and chaos and all kinds of trauma we don't have, because nothing is gone. We are, each of us are Paramashiva. If we understand that only the mind dies, The birth and death cycle is for the mind, not for us. We will realize that who we are is the Paramashiva space, which is constantly available, the eternal nectar, the blissful space, constantly holding Devi and manifesting Devi. Just tasting that nectar, you would never want to do anything other than be there in that space. So absolutely oneness with Paramashiva, Parashakti, intensely chanting the Mahavakya, few minutes. After that, it will start becoming Ajapa Japa. Ajapa Japa means moving without moving your tongue and making the sound come in your throat. We have so many outer world tunes, but now let's hold the Om mantra or any other Mahavakya, Shivaya Namah, Om Namah Shivaya, whatever Bhagavan has initiated you. When mantra becomes Mahavakya, you merge into the mantra. That is the speciality of Mahavakya, Bhagavan says. So beautifully, let's entangle with Bhagavan, who is in quantum space, the Paramashiva space. Chant the Mahavakya, hold the oneness and see what happens to the prasada. Let's start chanting the Mahavakya. If you have any questions or anything experience, please post it in your Facebook or YouTube. And let's start chanting the Mahavakya.
Om Nityananda Paramashivam. 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eye. Om Jnananda Paramashivam. 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 Om Jnananda Paramashivam.
Such a beautiful space of receiving the prasada. Each time you meditate, each time you experience the oneness with Paramashiva is the deepest meditation. When Bhagavan is asked by the scientific community, what is he doing in the brain? What is he experiencing exactly? He simply says that he's opening his third eye and he's in the deepest samadhi. And he says, like a petal, one by one, it opens up and the higher reality. The beautiful space when we have the power of will, simply we can manifest anything in our life, especially when you're aligned to the consciousness as the ultimate goal. You contribute to the world much, much more than any other contribution. The beautiful space simply happens around you is the phenomenal things, the power of will. Bhagavan beautifully says how your gut has to digest everything. Your gut bacteria, if you have 10 trillion bacteria in your body as human cell, you have 100 trillion cells as bacterias, viruses and parasites in your gut. Your gut has all the imprint of how you are, whether you are a thin person or you are like all that which is there in our biology lives in the gut, which creates all that bacteria, probacteria and all kinds of things which runs our life. Detoxing our body again and again simply makes us manifest a highest power. Beautifully, Bhagavan tells a story of Adi Shankara when he got thirsty. First, he went to an arak shop and his disciples were so happy. He drank the arak and all of them drank. Then again, after some time, he felt again thirsty. He went to a molten metal shop where they were melting metal. And he drank that also and asked the disciple, now are you ready to drink this? Or you drank from the last shop? The disciple simply disappeared. The stomach he had to digest anything was clearly shown. The power of the gut, that nothing could disturb him. Nothing in the outer world even touches him where he resides. That power of will that he had. Not that anything touches anybody. Nothing anyway touches. That is why everybody, even the worst trauma state, we go to sleep very peacefully. And in the deep sleep, we don't know. In the dream sleep, whatever we go through in the reality, we don't know. Not even our name, not even whether we are women or men. So we are residing in that, but living that in this life consciously, that the mind cannot touch the consciousness. Whatever happens in the mind will not disturb you. That power of the will to hold that I am Paramashiva, nothing touches Paramashiva, and everything as exists as is, because I am infinity. Nothing can be removed, nobody is lost, nothing is lost. I can just be there in a form I create, like how Bhagavan says, like a laser beam, we can create the reality what we want. If you have the laser beam and you can decide what pictures have to be projected, what would you do? That's exactly our life. Again and again, living that as our reality, whether we are making a coffee or running to the office or typing something to somebody in a chat, everything is Paramashiva's manifesting through you. Holding that cognition makes us manifest the highest space. That is power of will, strategic existence, consciousness, the potential cognitions of the powerful cognition becoming potential cognition, Bhagavan calls it, to become our reality every time. So with that space, let's have one more short cycle of meditation. Hold that intensely inside you, the Paramashiva space, Parashakti, Devi herself, just overflowing with the joy and compassion, just for you, each one of you, experiencing that oneness and entangling with Bhagavan in the most beautiful space. Let's have one more cycle of power manifestation, where keep the glasses of water or liquid or solid, clearly define the name, authentically verify every time, make sure that it is only through consciousness it has changed. Do not add anything and do not compromise. Whatever is the prasada, accept that it has not changed, it has changed, it is bitter instead of sweet. Everything is a prasada, whatever Bhagavan offers. Once you get into the space, the doubts will simply get out of you and know very clearly you cannot be disturbed. So hold that beautiful space and let's sit straight and bring Parashakti to our third eye for the next cycle and start chanting the Mahavakya, the power of will.
Om Jnananda Paramashivam. Om Jnananda Paramashivam. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up. Om Jnananda Paramashivam. Om Jnananda Paramashivam. Om Jnananda Paramashivam. Om Jnananda Paramashivam. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our burdens. Nityananda Paramashivam. Om 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 Nityananda Paramashivam. Let Paramashivam. Shiva's third eye, manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. 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 नित्यानंद परमशिवोऽहम् ॐ 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 नित्यानंद परमशिवोऽहम् Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Om Nityananda Paramashivam 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 Om Nityananda Paramashivam.
Such a beautiful space of oneness with Paramashiva. Let's go to the last part of sharing. Each one of us experiencing this higher science, higher reality. Today, so many of you manifesting the power of changing the taste. This is just a glimpse to show you that you are the possibility. It might be as small as some water has become sweet, but something in you has shifted. That very you will experience the higher reality. That beautiful oneness with Paramashiva, again and again, deep oneness with Paramashiva, and the cognition becomes more depth. And there is a $sign at the end of the YouTube chat. You can offer whatever you want, a unit of your currency. Again and again, we remind you, because the space of Kailasha starts happening the more you engage yourself in offering whatever as a contribution to the world. Sharing, contributing is a way we can expand, get grounded to these realities, which is always a level. You start establishing and telling people, hey, this is what it is, and this is what I invest my life in, is this Paramashiva space. And your space is Paramashiva space. With that beautiful space, let's surrender to Bhagwan all this beautiful, powerful cognition and power manifestation, and thank Bhagwan for whatever he is contributing to our life again and again. And in deep gratitude and earning, ask Bhagwan to make Paramashiva as your reality space. And with that, let's end this session with the Purna Mantra, and thank each one of you for that. And let's end with the Purna Mantra. Om Purnamada